Hi, this video looks at a method of lean production, Kaizen. So Kaizen isn't actually, or Kaizen, it's said in a number of ways. It's a Japanese word. It's not actually in the specification, but it is a type of lean production, and it will benefit you to have an understanding of what it is. So Kaizen, or Kaizen, is a production philosophy that concerns making incremental changes on a consistent basis in order to continuously improve performance. It's another Japanese word, which is why my pronunciation isn't fantastic, but it's a philosophy that comes from Japan, and essentially the idea is, rather than making huge monumental changes in the production process, i.e. ripping down the original machinery, redesigning the production line entirely with new machines, and then starting production again, which was the traditional Western way of kind of improving. This is a method that involves continuous improvement. That's the key phrase in here, continuous improvement. So what does it involve? Well, it involves regular communication with the workers. The workers are essential for Kaizen to work properly. We need to provide a forum for the workers to contribute their ideas to improve production. The idea is that the workers on the shop floor or on the factory floor are the ones who actually are dealing with the production day to day. They're the experts, they know what's going on, and they therefore will have the best information in terms of what little changes can we make in order to improve the production process. We're going to need the management to actually listen to what the workers are saying and be prepared to implement some of their suggestions, or else this method of production wouldn't work. It requires genuine empowerment of the workforce. In other words, the workers need to be given genuine decision-making power that holds true in reality. And so decisions aren't made centrally by the central kind of management at the top of the business. We may incur substantial training costs, because we need to make sure that our workers, first of all, have the skills to be able to communicate properly about the problems, but also adapt and be prepared to change. And this idea of changing to a marginal gains culture. Now, I love this idea of marginal gains. It's effective in businesses, it's effective in teaching, it's effective in learning. The idea is that if you make continual 1% improvements, then those improvements are compounded and aggregated over time, and over time you make a considerable improvement, but at a manageable rate. It's all quite, can you think of one thing that you could do to improve your performance at school, learning in business studies by 1%? It might be reading a page of a textbook a day, 1% gain. Okay, you do that consistently. Over time, that is going to add up, and you will become a considerably better business student if you keep on adding a 1% gain. Conversely, of course, we can equally get slightly worse every day. So a guy who is particularly known for implementing this kind of method, this kind of culture philosophy of continuous improvement is Dave Brailsford. I would recommend looking him up, looking at some YouTube videos on him. He was the head of British Cycling from 2002, I think, right the way up to 2012, when the British cycling team did extremely well in the Olympics and were the best cycling team at that Olympics. We are always striving for improvement, for those 1% gains in absolutely single thing we do. Just some examples. They painted the floor in the vehicles that they carried the bikes in. They painted that floor white, so it was easier to spot dust on the floor, because dust could get in the tyres, which could have a very small impact on speed, but nevertheless a marginal gain. You get rid of that dust, the riders get a tiny bit faster. They also used to take their own mattresses around. They didn't use, when the cyclists were on tour, say in the Tour de France, they took their own mattresses with them. Why did they do that? They did that because if the riders got a good night of sleep, because they had the mattress that they were comfortable with, they were more likely to ride the next day. Now that's not going to win you the medal in itself, but if you improve your sleep, you improve your diet slightly, you improve your fluid uptake, you improve your physical condition, all of that's going to add up, and that's what Kaizen is all about. So the benefits of Kaizen are that we're getting the opinions of workers, and these are often the guys who can first identify the problems, and then they can quickly be resolved. So we find the problems as they're coming up. We have a regular meeting with our workers. They contribute their ideas every day. They see things happening. They say, look, this was a problem we had yesterday. What can we do to resolve it today? It should improve the motivation of the workers, because they feel valued, they feel involved, they can see that they're making a difference to the business. They're contributing towards the business achieving its aims and objectives. It should reduce waste. Employees should spot where there's wasted time and effort, which will reduce production costs if the management take on their ideas and do something about it. There may be less need for big capital investment. In other words, we might not have to invest so much money in new machinery if we're making continual marginal gains, slowly improving over time. And of course, small changes tend to be easier to implement than big ones. The traditional method of redesigning a Western factory, as I said, you tear everything down and start again. It's a big change, which could stop production, whereas this allows production to continue and people will adapt to change easier. However, hearing a meeting every day, which is what I'd worked for an insurance company for a while, and we had a meeting every morning, a short meeting, 10 minutes or so, just identify the problems that had happened the day before, what could we do to resolve those problems. But that took 10 minutes every day. That was time that wasn't being spent actually creating an output for the business. I would argue probably that time is made up for in terms of clarity of the workforce and what they're doing. But anyway, there is an argument that we're reducing labour productivity. Some managers may resist change or not implement improvements. The traditional view of the manager as the brains of the operation and the workers as the kind of people who carry stuff out. That Kaizen turns that on its head. It's the workers, the manager's there as a facilitator, a coach to find out what's going on. The workers are really doing the thinking and implementing the changes, and there can be the cost of implementing any unsuccessful ideas. Okay, so we just need to clarify then the benefits and difficulties of lean production. So in this slide I'm including benefits and difficulties of just-in-time. Lean production, we're trying to eliminate waste from the production process. Waste includes time, materials, wasted human effort. So we should get better quality products as a result of this, because our workforce is improving, involved in the process, and we can't afford to lose any materials, so that should improve customer satisfaction. Our workers should be happier because they're involved in the process of contributing ideas, and it should help to lower our production costs. However, we're going to be reliant on our suppliers. It may be difficult to respond to changes in demand. and we're going to need to train and upskill our staff, which could represent a cost. So that's the end of these videos on lean production.